Are you interested in using a new piece of technology in your classroom? First of all, are you clear about what you want your students to learn? Could you write it down in a couple of sentences? When you're clear about what you want your students to learn, ask yourself how the technology will help them to achieve their aims. Will it help them to have a better, perhaps deeper understanding of the material? Will the technology help to make their learning more exciting or perhaps more hands-on or interactive than you can do at present? Maybe it will help them to work more efficiently so they've got more time to devote to the really challenging tasks. It could be that the technology helps them to work more independently. Maybe it will help to practice in their own time out of class. Maybe it would help them to prepare for lessons before class. We all want our students to develop their collaborative skills, and technology can be a great way of enabling that. Could it even help them to collaborate with people outside the school walls? Be ambitious. Ideally, we want the technology to do more than just replace what you're already doing. Could it help your students to do something they've never been able to do before? Have a think about your answers so far. If you've got lots of no's so far, it sounds as if this isn't the thing that you're looking for. But if the answer to most of these questions is yes, it sounds like you might be onto something. Even if you're only 50-50 so far, let's press on and see. Let's move on and think about any additional benefits your use of technology might have, things that go beyond your original learning objectives. Maybe the software will enable you to collect extra information about a student's progress. At least it might stop you carrying loads of heavy textbooks about. Any additional assessment information you can get from the software might well help you to track your students' progress as they move through the course. It might well help you to plan what they need to do next, and even to individualize their targets. The technology may well help you to give your students quick, well-focused feedback, and it's likely it will also help you to feed back to each other. You might also think about how the technology could be useful to students in other subjects, or even beyond school, in university or in the workplace. These factors may not be deal makers in themselves, but they might help to tip the balance one way or the other. If you've got this far, you're probably pretty convinced that the technology you're interested in has educational benefits. So let's have a look at the logistics. You'll need to spend a bit of time thinking about the usability of your technology. How long will it take your students to learn to use it? How long will it take you or your colleagues? Will you need extra training? How would you weigh up the time taken to learn the technology against the educational benefits? At some point, you're going to have to think about the financial implications. How much will it cost? Who will pay? Will it be a one-off expense, or will it be ongoing? For your technology to be really effective, it will need to be accessible. Will all your students have access to it? At school? At home? Will it work on different devices? Will you need support from the IT department, and will they be willing to give it? There's never a perfect solution in education. You will have identified some negatives, but let's imagine that the pros outweigh the cons. You're sure it's a good idea, and you're ready for launch. Now's the time to think a little bit about implementation. When will be the best time to introduce it to your students? Are you going to use it with all your groups at once, or will you have a test group? Will all the users share your enthusiasm for the product, or will you have to sell the idea a little bit? And how will you do that? And finally, even before you launch, it's a good time to think about evaluation. How are you going to judge whether it's been successful or not? Will you see results in terms of exam success, or will you judge it another way? And finally, how are you going to collect and use feedback from your students? That seems like an awful lot to think about, and you probably just want to get going and use the technology straight away. But I guarantee that any time spent in this planning stage will save you time later on, and it might even save you money as well.